Famcast Media Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, persons of all ages, welcome to the most exclusive group in the wrestling community. And now, your hosts, first, from Oahu, Puerto Rico, Macho Rodriguez, and his tag team partner from New Brunswick, Canada, God's King, Tyler.
¿Cómo estamos, mi gente? Welcome to another edition of Must Love Wrestling. Hey guys, this is my daughter's toy. This thing is awesome. It's like, it's supposed to be, from what I've learned, this is supposed to be some kind of like emotional thing. It's like Inside Out, right?
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, okay.
You know, like but the only thing is that it goes from angry to sad. Like, she has another one that's happy, but I couldn't find it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we are so close to El Día de los Muertos, All Hallows Eve, and Halloween. Anyway, we're so excited to have Tyler back. He's healthy. Tyler, you doing good? I'm worried about you, boss. You missed last week.
Yeah, man, I'm recuperating. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's been a rough week or so.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, it has been a rough week. I've missed you. I've done 2 shows without you. We did Wrestletalk 29 and 30 without you. 30 was kind of like I was bored as shit last night. Just jumped on here. But yeah,
I was gonna tell you to wait for me to get my headphones, but then I fell asleep.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
Feeling horrible.
Yeah, well, you know, I needed to jump on here and talk about wrestling because wrestling is my safe space, and the Yankees are about to get swept, and it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, you know what? Let me just jump on here and let me talk about professional wrestling. But Tyler, why don't we touch on some of the subjects that I talked about last week? But before we do that, why don't we share the breaking news coming out of WWE? Tyler, are you excited about this news?
The news we discussed earlier.
Yes.
Okay, I was making sure I knew what the news was.
Okay.
Yeah. So why don't you tell the folks what we're talking about?
Okay, so earlier today, WWE launched a new indie wrestling developmental program. And guys, this is super important because Triple H has done everything he can to go old school, to go back in the day, to just make sure that everything runs the way it did back in the day. And you know what I saw out of this? I just want to say a couple names to you, if that's okay with you. Houston, Atlanta, Davenport, Iowa, Concord, New Hampshire, Los Angeles. Do you know what that tells me, Tyler? We're going back to the territory days, my friend.
I like it.
We are going back to the territory days as Triple H and WWE signed this contract where they are going to showcase Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Academy, Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center in Concord, New Hampshire, Knox Pro Academy in Los Angeles. This is one of the most exciting things that we've had in a long time. And as I stated earlier on TikTok, I don't think the relationship with TNA is going away. I think that it's flourishing. Every wrestler that speaks about it, every big pundit that talks about it, they sound glowing. It sounds like the relationship has just been beautiful and it continues to blossom. So including TNA to all of this stuff, what do you think about WWE expanding its role, going to territories?
I mean, I think it's great for people who are going to eventually end up being there because they're going to learn the style. You know, WWE style is not the same as most wrestling.
Yes.
They have their own, quirks and whatnot. And they're going to learn that from the beginning so that it's like, you won't have to break people of their habits when they come in because they'll already know what you're doing. As far as the TNA relationship goes, I was listening to a podcast with Scott D'Amore, and he was saying like when Jordan Grace did the Rumble, he was about to, he couldn't have been happier with how they treated her because like in the past it's been like, well, we might, plans change, and stuff. But like he was leaving for the Jericho Cruise the same day, and Hunter called him right before he left, and he was like, "Look, I just want to let you know before you go, this is exactly what we have planned. This is what we're gonna do." So he didn't have to be out at sea like wondering. Like, so I think the lines of communication there are open and seem to be going well, at least for now. We'll see when when some contracts come up and maybe they end up
jumping ship
in WWE. I mean, I guess Motor City Machine Guns just did that, right? But
yeah, I think it's one of those things where Motor City Machine Guns were just like that one rare gem that they wanted. It was like, let me go to like a Comic-Con and like, this is the toy that I've always wanted and I never got an opportunity to get, because the way they came in was way too hot. We've never seen somebody come in like that. That's some Goldberg style shit. To come in and win the title on your third match. I said too early.
Carlito did it.
But he was developmental.
First match.
Yeah. US and Intercontinental was yeah, he beat John Cena in the first match, and he beat Shelton Benjamin in his first match on Raw. Yes, but he was a developmental guy. The Motor City Machine Guns have been TNA forever, and then they come in and people love them. I mean, it throws. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a huge fan of them since I actually was on a flight with the guys in it's like 2008. I was engaged to a girl that lives outside of Detroit.
Yes,
and they must have been flying home from a show. I was flying from Virginia to spend some time with her, and they were just really cool guys, and I've been a fan of them ever since. But yeah, that's awesome. But like, and I hope the relationship can stay strong. But like, I'm just thinking about like when a guy like Joe Hendry becomes a free agent, you don't think WWE is gonna snap that up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everybody thinks that Joe Hendry is headed right to WWE. I don't know if that's sure. I don't know if that's a positive thing, because honestly, when I look at it, I see Nick Nemeth is eventually going to lose the championship to him. I know he typically gets brought in as one of those like, hey, let me just hold the championship for a little bit. But listen, he's getting a chance to just shine and run. And when I look at Joe Hendry, I just don't know if I think they're learning from the Cody Rhodes mistake, which is kind of one of those things. Like, I'm not saying Cody being champion is a mistake. I think it's like now we're in a flux where I think there's more negative comments about Cody as champ, because a lot of people are realizing that it was so much more fun to watch Cody chasing the championship. And now that he has it, they've done a really huge disservice to him by not giving him those sink your teeth into moments. Now, we might get that out of Kevin Owens. No, they don't. And I think what's really hurt Cody, that I think won't hurt Hendry because it looks like they're learning from it, is what's really hurt Cody is that we know for certain Cody's not losing that championship. They are afraid to pull a Drew McIntyre, which I don't understand why. During the pandemic, Drew McIntyre was the champion above all champions. He was the guy. But guess what? They had a Hell in a Cell match, and he lost the championship to Randy Orton. He won it back a couple weeks later. You can do that with Cody. What's to hurt Cody if he's a multiple-time champion in like a month?
Yeah, so I think a part of what that was too was it seems like back in those days, remember it was on Survivor Series, it would be like champion versus champion.
Yes.
So a lot of times right before the show, one of the titles would switch.
Okay.
It happened with AJ when he beat Jinder. It happened when Bryan beat AJ.
Yes.
And then it happened when Drew beat Randy. So like 3 out of 4 years they pulled that.
Yes. I mean, I like that. I think that's great. But what I'm saying is like, that makes sense, obviously. But what I'm saying is like, we knew at that moment that Drew wasn't invincible. And they
Right.
have made Cody invincible. Now, clearly, if you're not paying attention to the entire booking since WrestleMania 39, you didn't know this was coming because he comes out of WrestleMania 39, he has the loss against Roman Reigns, and then the very next night he goes into a feud with Brock Lesnar. He conquers the beast, and then he continues to conquer everybody. And obviously, if you lose to Brock Lesnar, but I mean, if you beat Brock Lesnar and then you start losing to people, like that doesn't make any sense. You haven't done anything with the Lesnar stuff. It's kind of like the way it's spoken about, like the Undertaker, how when the Undertaker lost to Lesnar, Lesnar had to dominate John Cena at SummerSlam, and it was to prop up that Lesnar was actually able to beat the Undertaker. It was John Cena speaks about it a lot. Like that made sense. Like you're the guy who beat the streak. Yeah, if you want to dominate me in the match, let's do that. That's what's going to sell tickets. That's what's going to get people invested. They haven't done that for Cody. They haven't put him in a position, which leads me to say this next comment, Tyler. The WWE version of the American Nightmare is the worst version of the American Nightmare we've gotten to date.
I mean, I don't think there's a question that that's true.
I mean, God, this is your boy, so give us your honest opinion.
I mean, I'm a fan of the guy.
Yeah,
I'm a fan, and a lot of it again is I'm a fan of the guy.
Yes.
And that's a habit for me, unfortunately. But yeah, I think there's obviously limitations in WWE that he didn't face in other places because a lot of the time in other places he was, the star. Whereas now he's, one of the stars. There's lots of stars.
I mean, but it's him and Roman. Those are the top two guys.
Well, sure. But, I mean, there's also CM Punk a lot of the time.
Yeah,
and there's...
But Punk's more of an attraction, I feel like.
Yeah, and I don't think it's done him any favors to be on SmackDown because, honestly, I look at SmackDown as a show there's a couple of people at the top, and then there's a lot of guys that don't even get, like they don't even get PLE rubbed hardly at all. The majority of the show
SmackDown... Yeah, SmackDown was really high up because it was on Fox. But now it's not on Fox, it's on USA.
It was, but still, I watched a few, heading into Mania and stuff. And it's like, there are a lot of people on this show that are not, will not be on, they're like lower card. They would be considered lower card wrestlers. Like, they're not going to be on the PLE. Like, I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not saying they're not good performers. Like, Andrade's phenomenal. Carmelo is phenomenal. But they're not, like, when was the last time you saw either one of them on a PLE?
No. And that's the biggest problem, too, is, like, Cody's on...
Pretty deadly.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you're put in a position where it's like, what are you going to do with Cody Rhodes? And I think that they would have really benefited, and this is just my personal opinion, they would have really benefited from the Batista-John Cena swap. Remember the draft where John Cena wins the WWE Championship from JBL, Batista wins the title from Triple H, and then they have the first draft and John Cena gets drafted to Raw because Raw has always been the flagship. And they immediately put him into a feud with Jericho, who was really popular, with Christian, who was moving up because the peeps were starting to get real popular. I mean, that Christian was really over. Say what you want, but that Christian was over as fuck. And then
I was a peep.
Hey, yeah, and then you go over, and then all of a sudden Batista feuds with JBL, and it's like, all right, here we go. We got some nice feuds going on. Now, I think they would have benefited from that, sending Cody to Raw and then sending Damian to SmackDown, but they couldn't do it because Damian was in Judgment Day, and you would have to send the entire Judgment Day over there. And obviously, a lot of the Judgment Day storylines they're completely centered around Monday Night Raw. But it is one of those strange things where it feels like when I think about the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, I think about him giving $45 to a female wrestler in TNA and telling her this is $20 more than you're going to get.
When they were going to pay you.
I think about him cutting that promo against Kenny Omega in Japan. I think about him cutting that. I've sent it to you how many times? The Steve Corino promo. I think about like him cutting promos against Chris Jericho where he calls him a dick. You know, like I think about the undeniable or to undesirable to goddamn undeniable. Like those, that is the American Nightmare. That is the guy that they have. You can't tell me. You can't. I'm sorry. I refuse
he's
to.
He's neutered.
Yes. Perfect word, Tyler. That is absolutely perfect. Because you can't tell me that version who was on his own, writing his own shit, cutting his own ad-libs promos, got that over. That's the guy that you signed. That's the guy that you brought in.
And so when they signed him, they said that's what they want. And then now that's not what they want.
Exactly. And it really hurts because I feel like you said, neutered. And I'm also going to say they've handicapped him. Because in that Chris Van Fleet interview, we talk about it off air. We actually spoke about it on the phone. He says, are you sure you know what you're asking for when people are asking for Cody to turn heel? Like, it sounds great, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare heel, but are you sure you know what you're asking for? And then he goes into it. So it's almost like they've made a decision. Cody, you're going to be this white meat babyface. This is what we want. This is going to continue to get over. This is a sensitive time in professional wrestling, and we need one guy to be the clean guy. You are it. And that's one of those things where I just don't feel like it works. Because Tyler, and I want to say this to you because I'm hoping you agree with me, but if you don't, I would love to hear your take on it. The version of the American Nightmare that we fell in love with pre-WWE, right? Mm-hmm. In the era that we live in the WWE trying to get more spicy, that version would be a bigger babyface than he is now. If he cut those like scathing promos as a babyface in WWE right now, dude, I say this with utmost like certainty, and I say it with me like with my chest out. He would be more over than Roman Reigns right now. People would be craving Cody.
Yeah, because the guy that he is, he isn't, I don't think he is this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he,
no,
he is good to kids, obviously. Dick. Yeah. I mean, I find him kind of relatable because, honestly, I'm kind of a dick.
Yeah.
But
no.
There's a difference. I like to clarify this. I've said it to a lot of people. I don't know if I've ever said it on the air. There's a big difference between being a bit of a dick and being an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit of a dick. I'm gonna give you, you're gonna get the horns a little bit.
Yes.
But usually that means I like you and I'm, we're playing.
Absolutely, because you can be honest. You can be yourself around someone. That's typically that's actually a great sign of mental health. When you can be your unapologetic self around human beings, around people that you trust. We are absolutely honest with each other. We fight all the time. But you say you text me all the time. Brothers fight. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But we know we can be honest around each other. I love you, bro. You are one of the best people I've ever met in my life. I don't want you to change. I don't want a different version of Tyler. I want the guy that has been my friend for fucking 17 years. That's exactly what you want out of people.
Well, right. Like I said, I'm a bit of a dick, but if it came down to it, I dive on top of your kid to save him from whatever.
Exactly. Because no, I get it.
It's not the same thing, and that's what I think Cody is
Yeah,
and that's cool. I wish they would let him be that.
Yes, I agree. I don't like the WWE Cody Rhodes. I don't like the American Nightmare that we're getting, and that's the sad part. Because yes, It's
I mean, I gotta say, I really did enjoy the promo exchange they had on SmackDown.
yeah, but I thought he got his asshole eaten out. Like, I feel like Gunther looks better. Like, but you know why? Because Gunther's able to say stuff that Cody's not able to say.
Yeah,
And
but
it
the things
almost
he
feels
said
like,
was
why?
it was almost like the things that Gunther said was like he doesn't get it. Like, you're in
Yeah.
the position of responsibility. You can't say no. That's the thing. That's what Cody's
Yeah.
saying. Like, I can't say no. This is my responsibility.
Yes.
But
And
yeah,
it comes
again,
off
that's
like
not
Gunther's a spoiled brat. Like, I can say no if
right.
I want to. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it
Yeah.
would do a world of good if they would swap them.
Mm. You mean heel and face, or just like
No, no, no,
send
no, no, no. Send Gunther to SmackDown and
and
Cody to
Cody to
Raw.
Raw? Yeah, I mean, I think that works really well because it gives us Finn versus Cody, which I think would be your wet dream.
Is that?
But
Oh, jeez.
I feel like it's one of those things. No, like, I don't know. I just kind of look at it as I want Cody Rhodes to be pre-WWE Cody Rhodes. Like, I get it. I understood what you said. You went on Chris Van Vliet's podcast and you told us, are you sure you know what you're asking for? Here's what I'm asking for. And I know I'm asking for this, Cody. Please be the American Nightmare, because what you are now. Yeah, yes. Of course he's watching our show. Come on, he's probably one of the people that have been signed on that keep signing on and off. It's the internet. That's what happens. But listen, please be the American Nightmare, the guy that we all love. Dude, you can still cater to the children. You can still have them dress up as you. You can still sell the merchandise. You can still do all that. But guess what, man? Your show's on from 8 to 10. You're about to be on Netflix. You're about to be TVMA on Netflix. Dude, be the American Nightmare. Actually cut the promos that we fell in love with. Go out there and rip Kevin Owens apart. Do that. When you cut a promo against Randy Orton and Randy and him are going to go at it because that feud is going to come next.
Mm-hmm.
When that happens, tell us about the shit that Randy Orton did when you were his mentee. Like, do that the way you did Jericho. Because I feel like that Jericho feud that he had, right, when Jericho was calling him like a silver spoon, like all that stuff, and he pointed out to Jericho like, oh, I'm afraid that, like, I didn't realize that you growing up with a famous hockey dad, like we both grew up with the same silver spoon in our mouths, you entitled dick. Like, when he cut that promo, look, that's what I mean. Look what I'm doing. We're having this conversation right now, and how many promo? And Tyler, I bet you right now, as I'm saying this, because I can see your smirk, you're picturing Cody Rhodes in that ring cutting that promo, right?
I'm seeing Jericho with that ridiculous blazer on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There has been no Cody Rhodes promo in the WWE where we can quote like that. There's been no moment with the $45. There's been no monotone. Just like, man, that promo he cut to Steve Corino. I remember the Steve Corino Living Dangerously feud with Dusty Rhodes. Like, I remember that. Like, you're telling me, like, you finally get it. Like, somebody comes back as Steve Corino the way he did it, like his dad. Like, dude, that is exceptional. There's none of that in WWE, and it just really, really pisses me off as a fan. Because it makes me kind of a Cody hater, which is not where I want to be. It's just not. You know what I mean?
I just think, with WWE, I just think that's what you're gonna get, though. Unfortunately,
yeah.
They
want him to be a white meat.
Well, and that's almost everyone, though. There's gonna be a little heat taken off of just about everyone's fastball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree, but like, we saw babyface Kevin Owens. He's kind of a badass. We saw babyface Randy Orton. He's kind of a badass. We see babyface CM Punk. He's a badass. We've seen it with Drew. We've seen them let people just go out there and be themselves. And it works. You know what I mean? It works. So the fact that, like, I love that you said that Cody is neutered. I love that, because that is like the perfect term for it. But the one thing I wanted to point out too is, how do you feel? Why don't we stay on your superstars here? How do you feel about the fact that Liv Morgan is essentially working her ass off to get booed? She has turned in the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour to straight up Mean Girls. That's who she's turned into. Calling people pathetic, calling people ugly, calling people losers. She's doing everything she can. And yet fans won't pay her enough respect to be like, all right, you know what? You want us to boo you? You're working your ass off. You're earning these boos. Well, like,
I just don't think people look at it like that.
What do you mean?
I don't think people look at it as like they don't get that it's like a sign of respect.
Oh, okay. Give me more. Tell me more.
I just don't think people. I don't think the and I saw that you mentioned it in your on your TikTok video, like the target audience.
Yes.
Gets that, like, okay, if I boo you, if you're a heel and I boo you, that means that you're, doing your job.
Yes, exactly.
With the possible exception of Dom.
Yeah. I mean, Dom is hated and he loves it. I mean, he says it himself. He's not a people person. He's nervous around crowds.
Yeah, I was listening to that interview on the way home.
Yeah.
So freaking annoying.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's stayed in character.
Yeah, him and Liv, they were both in character for that. Like, you could tell.
Oh, did she? Okay, I haven't heard hers yet.
Yeah, she's definitely in character. Like, a lot of what she says. I mean,
he's talking about his chicken tendies when I got home.
Yeah. But that's kind of what I mean. Like, I kind of feel like it's one of those things. And I gave the example of going to Monday Night Raw years ago when Bryan and Punk were both the big champions. And I was lucky enough to see World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan versus WWE Champ CM Punk one-on-one on Monday Night Raw because John Laurinaitis booked the match. And I remember watching it because John Laurinaitis was an on-screen character for people that don't know.
Did I briefly slip into a coma? Because I don't remember that match.
Oh, sorry. But so they have their match on Monday Night Raw. And I remember, Tyler, you remember, I'm always a bigger Bryan fan than Punk. I used to be angry that Punk was beating him on the PLEs. Like,
we had some arguments about that.
Yes, I really thought Bryan should have won the title. And, years later, we heard that Punk actually tried to push for Bryan to win the title at one point, but they said no. Anyway, getting back to it, I knew that at that moment, it's my job to boo Bryan. It's my job to boo this man. I can't go in there and cheer the heel no matter how much I love the guy. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. That's not what he's looking for. He's looking to be booed. At home, it's like the Planet Champion. I got all 3 of his Planet Champion shirts.
Especially when you're that type of heel.
Exactly. He was a little slimy little shit. Like, he was cheating, He was kind of one of those heels that's really irritating.
I think it's I think it's different with like an Edge, the Rated R superstar.
Mira, Bobby, I would never boo Edge.
I never booed him.
He did. I couldn't do it. That's how we're friends because of Edge.
I booed, Ray and Jeff Hardy because I was a fan of Edge and Punk. Same with Punk as a heel. Like, I never booed him because that's my dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of those things.
For instance, Finn, I wouldn't boo him. I just can't.
Yeah, but I'd much rather stay quiet and watch you than be the lone guy that's cheering you. Like I learned the hard way that that's not what they want. It's kind of one of those things. Like I told you about the Alberto Del Rio thing before. Like, you meet him at an airport and he won't sign an autograph and he kind of treats you like shit. And then people are like, why is he such a dick? Right? And you have one guy who's like, dude, he's just in character. And he turns around and he winks at you. Like, yeah, he's in character. He doesn't want Like, of course he wants to sign the autograph. Of course he wants to take a picture with you. You know, like, you don't think they appreciate that you're their fans? Like, of course they do. You're part of the reason they get up. But when I look at it, like, if fans just booed Liv, right? Like, I genuinely feel sorry for her because I feel like once she drops the championship, she's relegated to Dom's girlfriend, right? Like, is she going to maintain in that level of storyline? I don't think so. When she drops the strap, she's going to be relegated to Dom's girlfriend, and I feel like it's unfair. But if she starts getting the type of heat that she gets on Twitter, if she starts getting the type of heat that she gets on TikTok, if she starts getting that heat in live form and people start like booing her and won't let her talk, I think WWE and Triple H will be like, yeah, this is our girl. We found our heel. Let's do it. Or guess what, guys? If you want to pull a Becky Lynch and you think she should be the Becky to the Charlotte, right? Like, if you feel like Rhea's Charlotte and you feel like Liv is Becky and you need to make that happen, then make your voices heard. Go out there and cheer her louder than everybody else. Boo everybody else. Because guess what, guys? The only reason that Becky was over was because they were booing the shit out of Charlotte. But here's the problem. Everyone loves Rhea. She is, like, you heard it in the Sirius XM interview. Like, Liv is over, but Rhea's like over. Like, it's a different level. And I've stated this before, like, you talk about it, right? So you talk about it with Cody Rhodes, and I wanted to bring it to this. Like, you say how Cody's relatable, and you talk about how Will Ospreay, you love the human being that he is, and you love the human being that Finn is. Well, that's the problem. People love the human being of Rhea. She's flawed. She deals with anxiety. She deals with depression. And guess what? We don't find out about it through rumors. She's open. She literally did an interview talking about having a panic attack at WrestleMania 40. Superstars of her magnitude do not share that part of their life. She is doing that to the masses. It's hard to boo that person.
Right. And the other thing is she's just too good.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Like,
yeah.
Like, you can't help but respect, what she's doing out there because she's one of the top 3 stars, I'd say, on Raw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the other one's on a tag team, which I know you disagree with, but.
Wait, what?
Bianca.
On Raw.
She's everywhere. She's a tag champ. She can go wherever she wants.
Yeah,
she doesn't have a show.
She's obviously a star. They both are, Bianca and Jade, but I mean, like, as far as people that are just on Raw, like, I would say Punk is maybe.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant female star, but yes, you're right. Rhea, no. It doesn't matter gender.
No, yes. She's one of the top 3, like, total.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the reasons I tune into the show.
Yes. And that's the thing. So every time I post, so I want to make this clear. Every time I post about Rhea Ripley, do you want to know one of the comments that I get on those videos, Tyler? There's always a brand new person that jumps into my comments that says, Rhea is the reason I came back to wrestling. That is huge, man. For that many people to say that, I left wrestling a while ago. It was boring. Rhea brought me back. Dude, that's a different level of over. That's for you to bring in a new audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, dude, I just reposted this video today on TikTok. It's a little girl, my daughter's age, Tyler. Her costume is Rhea Ripley. She's mini mommy. That's her costume. She's a miniature, like a 3-year-old Rhea Ripley. Like, I get that people want to hate her and they want to make these disingenuous comments that she hasn't had a good match since WrestleMania 40. You're so full of shit. You just want to hate her just to hate her.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
No, that's like saying Seth Rollins has bad matches. Like, get the fuck out of here. And
Hey,
she's that good.
I'm running through the catalog right now. I don't know how she hasn't had very many bad ones. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's
I thought
one of
the
those.
match the match that her and Liv had at SummerSlam, I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, people don't even realize like how good like she is, and I don't know, man. I feel like the thing I like to do, like I'm just gonna give full disclosure. You know, Tyler calls me out for it all the time, but I'm gonna be honest because I feel like in this conversation we kind of need to be honest. Most of the time I fuck with Tyler's wrestlers, it is for interaction on this show. I genuinely, like, you heard me say all the nice things about Cody Rhodes in this show like 10 minutes ago. That's genuinely how I feel about Cody Rhodes. But a lot of the time it's better, it makes better for better views if me and Tyler go at it, right? And you know, Tyler does it every now and then. He'll jump in and he'll make a comment about Brian, right? Like, he doesn't mean it. He loves Brian, but he's just kind of
Have
making the
fans
comment.
pushed for him to be in the main event of the next pay-per-view yet?
Yeah, see what I mean? Like, it's perfect, right? But when I don't know. I feel like there are people that are massively across the board purposely trying to hate on Rhea Ripley. But here's the problem, guys. This isn't a Charlotte situation because a lot of these fans don't realize she's crushing the merch sales. Nobody has more merch sales than her. It's not even close. Her segments on Monday Night Raw are of the most viewed on television. The ratings spike when she's on TV. When they post the clips on YouTube, they're in the 100,000s. That's how many people love this woman. So, as Tyler says it, the majority of wrestling fans are telling us this person's good. And then there's TikTok that's telling us that she's bad. And as I stated earlier, all of TikTok could stop watching WWE right now, and it wouldn't make a fucking dent to WWE. That's like how big their audience is. It's
right,
wild.
like Eric Bischoff says, that's a rounding error.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you lose that many viewers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Like that's and that's I think what we have to think about sometimes. Like, we are not. They know we're gonna watch, so they're not pushing for us.
Yeah.
I mean, they've thrown us a lot more bones than they do in the past.
Of course.
And I'm appreciative of that. It's probably the best the product's been. Oh God, ever maybe? I don't know. In a long time.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Well, we're going to talk about the product in a minute here.
Real partial to 97, but I mean,
okay.
I don't feel the same way as I did then. It felt exciting and like anything could happen, and I don't have that anymore. I think probably knowing as much as I know, I never will.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of one of those things where, like, I can point out moments in pro wrestling where I feel like I have been invested entirely. Like, Roman Reigns has done a great service to me as a wrestling fan because he kept me invested for his entire title reign. I'm a fan of his. He's one of my favorites. But before Roman, I didn't really have, like, you can go back to the Yes Movement. That's how long you have to go back before, like, where I was so invested. Like, there was a moment in time where I remember telling Pat, like, I just don't like what I'm watching anymore. Like, I didn't even like what I was watching.
Right.
You know, like, you go back to, like, the summer of Punk, like Punk with Alberto Del Rio and John Cena. And then, like, that was great. You know, 2004. When a specific wrestler main evented WrestleMania 20, like, I remember being invested into that, you know. Eddie Guerrero beating, like, the great, my personal favorite match of all time, Eddie versus Brock. Like, to me, that, like, that's the last time that I was like, those are moments in time, but there's nothing that's ever going to top 96 to 98 for me, WCW.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. Like, anything, anytime, anything could happen. Like I was watching I was watching the episode of Nitro that we find out Bischoff's in the NWO.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Like Sunday night, I think I put it on to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Piper's cutting that promo about Bischoff being a liar, and then the NWO comes out, and yeah,
I mean,
man,
it was a different time.
And the friggin' the Brett Shawn Stone Cold feud from '97, like 1997 is a crazy year because like Bret Hart legitimately probably has the best year of his career as a performer, and then also, I mean, I guess obviously the worst moment of it in the same year.
Yeah, but you also have to look at like the beginning of his tenure in WCW is really good match quality. It may not be good like in terms of story, but dude, he went in and immediately worked Sting, Benoit, Malenko, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig when he works Hennig.
He worked Flair on his first pay-per-view match was against Flair.
Yeah, like this dude was putting out. It was like, yeah, like the thing is, you know what the problem was with that, Tyler? WCW was the first company that told us that match quality was the least of what made someone successful. Right. Because the cruiserweight division was always stout, and they didn't give a shit. If you go back and you Wikipedia, just like WCW pay-per-views, some of their biggest matches are like 6 minutes long. Like the biggest names. Like Bischoff didn't care about the in-ring wrestling. He cared about the story.
Right, and that's what he had the cruiserweights for, was to fill that void for those of us who that's what we're, you know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean
that was perfect. Like I don't understand. I mean, I'd love it if we still had something like that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree. So why don't we move on to your other favorite wrestler, and we talk about what's happening right now, because I feel like it's one of the most compelling stories on Monday Night Raw right now, which is Finn Balor and his jealousy of Dominic Mysterio. How do you think this is going to play out? Because he, at first, so I want to say this, at first, I thought it was a part of the story. Like, oh, let's trick Damian and Dom's going to go out there and it's going to kind of be, and then we'll, like, when you least expect it, here comes Finn. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was a part of his character. But now it's been back-to-back weeks, and Dom has done something that Finn couldn't do, which is beat Damian. And the Judgment Day kind of helped Dom do it. And Finn looks genuinely jealous. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I paid really close attention to what Liv Morgan said yesterday, which was like, what are we talking about over here, right? We're celebrating Dom's win, right? And it was almost like Finn didn't really want to celebrate the win.
Yeah, he's really good at playing that role, I think. Because you remember he did it with Damian as well when Damian had Money in the Bank.
Yes.
I just think, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I like the idea that you had where the champion that Dominic would face would be Finn.
Yes, I love that. I really wanted that to be it. I thought that would have been perfect. And the thing is, Adam Pearce trolls. That would have been a perfect thing. Like, what do you do there?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I don't know. I just think he's destined to just kind of be above the below, but below the upper.
I don't think so. I've never felt more strongly about the statement I'm about to make, and that is, I believe that years ago when Triple H made that comment about Finn Balor being money, I think he's about to cash in that money. I think we're about to see babyface Finn Balor come back, We're about to see the rainbow. We're about to see this together, and we're about to see the demon. And I think the demon is going to show his face, and I would not be surprised if we get like that NXT version of Balor where they lose the tag championships to the War Raiders and Finn kind of loses it. And I'm thinking, I think 2025 is going to be the best year of Finn Balor yet.
I hope you're right, because if they go back to that NXT character, that's probably the best character he's had in the company.
Both of them. The original NXT character was really great too.
It was, but it was more. I think it was
very
more match quality.
Face. Yes,
it's very babyface.
Yeah.
I really love the tweener.
Well, I don't think Triple H likes the tweener. I don't think he because if you realize that the tweeners get less screen time. Like he's really taken LA Knight off of TV. He doesn't have LA work anymore. Because he he acted kind of like a dick on SmackDown when he. Yeah, it almost made me think he was turning heel, but right. That's kind of what made me feel like, okay, he's a tweener. He's kind of like Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, he's like a diet version of Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, agreed. Because Ken Anderson was a hell of a worker. Yeah. By the way, I recommend to everyone, and I don't do this often, I recommend to everyone after our show here, jump on YouTube and type in Stevie Richards, Mr. Kennedy. He has a video, a 24-minute video on his YouTube channel where he talks about what got Mr. Kennedy fired. It's a brilliant watch. Go watch it. It's really good. Stevie Richards, I love the way he breaks down stuff. Sir, if you want to jump on our show here, we would love to have a conversation with you. That would be phenomenal. I would love to talk about one of your former members of the BWO, Nova. I was a big fan of Nova. Wasn't a fan of him when he went to WWE, but I was a big fan of Nova. Loved it. Kryptonite Crunch. Loved all of it. It was awesome. Anyway. Do you know how he got his name? What, Nova? In WWE? Oh, no. Simon Dean? No. Do you know what Dean Malenko's real name is? No. Dean Simon. That's so they just decided to flip that. So every time they would see each other, it'd be like Dean Simon, Simon Dean. I don't know why he didn't come in. I feel like the Nova character today in 2024 works. You know what I mean? Like if somebody came out with that innovative offense, because he was like the ECW version of like the Chris Kanyon. Like the guy was killing it. Like yeah, didn't he was like doing shit that we've never seen before. Yeah. Yeah, we had never seen some of the stuff that he was doing before, man. He was awesome. I was a big fan. Big fan of his. Anyway, so I think 2025 is going to be the best version of Finn Balor that we get. And I'm definitely excited for it. I'm looking forward to it because I feel like Finn has been kind of lurking in the background. As you said, you're the biggest Finn Balor fan I know, and even you don't buy into the fact that he could have a monumental moment anymore. Like, you're just like, I think he's destined to be either like upper mid card or right under the main event. And it's like, you know what? That doesn't seem right for Finn Balor. He's just too good. He's a pro's pro. He's that dude. And he can be that guy. Or like I made a video last week where I made a video last week where I said, if you go back and you watch his feud with Seth Rollins, if you go back and you watch his feud with Roman Reigns, when he had that impromptu Universal Championship match against Roman Reigns, he looks the part. He looks like the guy that can be in that role. I know a lot of people see him and they're like, he's 5'11", he's like 205 pounds. And it's like, dude, he is certainly not 5'11". Well, whatever you think he is, but he definitely looks the part. He looks great. He sounds great. And I feel like it's one of those things where he's gotten progressively better on the microphone. Like you know, if you take him and make him a babyface and you have him cut promos that he cut, like he cut the one on Seth Rollins, the one that the fans kept woeing through, that promo, if you go back and you listen to that promo without the woes, it is an exceptional, it's the best promo he's ever cut in his career. Just the best, where he talks about Seth took everything away from him. And I know that I'm saying this now because I'm viewing him as a babyface in my mind. At the time, I hated the promo because it's not a heel promo. It's just not. But
well, it you say that, but like people have always said like the heel has to believe that he's right.
yeah, but more of a jealousy type of thing, not like a you took something from me. And that was the truth. That's the problem with that promo.
I mean,
it's
true.
It was the truth.
It's true in a way, but I think the way people look at it would be like, oh, quit whining, you know, it's this ain't ballet.
No, I understand.
Hurt. It happens.
I get it. Yeah, but the fact that like Seth had a couple, like he had the knee shot to Cena, he had the running power bomb, he had the Sting, and like he had become pegged as like the guy who injures you, like, you know. And then Brett says what he said about him, which he later retracted, and you know they talked it out and stuff. But like, when you listen to Finn Balor's promo, it's like, all right, dude, like during that time, you kind of were an unsafe worker. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of one of those things, but now it's
I think that particular move
should be banned.
Has to be done a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the sunset flip powerbomb that Bayley and Sasha Banks do. I don't want them to do that move because they're going to hurt themselves. They both hit their ankles on the ropes when they flip over for the sunset flip, and it pisses me off because it's like, girls, that is not a safe move. Not for the person you're working, because that person, it's all them, how they fall. But you are going to whack your... It's like, you said this a while ago to me. Who was it that you said took a flip, like, I forgot what it was, but you said the person flipped over and they went too far and their legs hit, was it Eddie? Where he hit the ropes and the ropes could have just like fractured their ankle or something.
Owen Hart, I think.
Yeah, Owen. Yeah. And it's like
in the match with Brett, I think he was lucky, like real early in that match, that he didn't break his ankle.
Yes, that was 10, right? WrestleMania 10.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like there are moves in wrestling that should be banned. You know, I mean there's whatever, but
because the move like that, like if there's sweat and there's like if you just slip even just a little bit, like
just a little, yep.
Like you saw what happened.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. I mean,
Twice.
Unfortunately, you know, like knock on wood, I never want it to happen again, but we saw Hayabusa slip off the top rope. We saw D'Lo Brown with draws. Like we've seen some accidents happen. We saw Owen Hart with Steve Austin. Like we saw some of these moves that we've seen happen before. We've seen, and they're accidents. So I agree that that power bomb in the corner should be banned. It should be banned.
Yeah, it seems they've figured out a way to do it without, you know, anyone getting hurt. But
yeah, I mean, I agree. It
just takes one slip, and you know,
that's it. Just one little, like, minimal slip, and it's unfortunate. But so yeah, Tyler, why don't we talk about AEW and the new Jon Moxley? And how he's slowly but surely trying to fix the company. And where do you think this is going? So let's start here. There was a report that came out after right away after Bryan dropped the championship to Jon Moxley, that it was Jon Moxley who called an audible to beat Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship and to keep it away from Darby because he felt like he can get Darby over more. Since the internet went crazy, we now found out that It was actually Bryan Danielson's call. He called the audible. It's his story. The story that's being run right now in AEW with Moxley, this is Bryan's baby. He came up with this story. So now knowing that, what's not surprising?
It's beautiful.
Oh, okay. Well, then I love that. I love that you think that because I know you're not the biggest Moxley guy. So just the fact that you gave it a compliment, I need to know more. What about it is beautiful to you?
I love the way he carries himself and the way he talks. I had some issues with some of his matches and some of the things he was doing at times.
Yeah.
But I do love like I said, I love the way he carries himself and the way he talks. He has a little bit of a different vibe to most people, and it's just like it makes wrestling seem dangerous.
Yes.
And that is something like I said about 97, like when I was watching that as a kid, it felt like everything was like anything could happen, like it was dangerous.
Yeah.
So that to me, like, it makes me feel something, and I love it, and I love that. Now it looks like Orange Cassidy is going to be the guy to step up, and
love that because we're big fans of Orange Cassidy on our show here,
and they have been doing nothing with him.
Agreed, nothing, and maybe this is why. Because I want to rock with Darby because he's Sting's guy and he put in so much work, but Orange, like, he's a personal favorite. I love what he does. He's like that one guy. Like, I feel like he turned a comedy act into a really great performer, and I'm looking forward to this because they kind of have a feud already. Like, Mox beat him for the International Championship.
Yeah, they have history, and he did, like, he finally on Wednesday said, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to do it. It's gonna have to be me because when they attack Chuck,
nobody cares about Chuck.
Well, he does. It's Chuck is a vehicle to get Orange to give a shit.
No, I agree otherwise. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I agree otherwise. I've never been a fan of that guy. He looks weird. Anyway. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, obviously, I get that it's not the same, but it's the closest thing I felt to, like, NWO vibes. Like, anything can happen. Who knows who's gonna come out next?
Yeah.
In a long time. I think it's a beautiful story.
You know what I find really interesting about it? I'll let you continue, but I wanted to add to your stuff, so maybe you can give me some thoughts on this as well. A couple of months ago, John Moxley was on his wife's podcast, the Renee Paquette podcast, the Oral Sessions, and he said about Marina Sheriff. He said, give her to me and I'll turn her into a star. And holy shit, he has made her scary.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, that girl's a monster. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand why she's never been used properly by any company.
And she's got a Russian accent, which is great.
WWE didn't do a damn thing with her.
No,
aside from putting her on Velveteen Dream's Fans.
I don't remember that. Okay.
He was feuding with Roddy. That's Roddy's wife.
Oh, yes. Okay. Got it. He pulled the Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, quite literally a Rick Rude.
Yeah. But then, I think he either got hurt or he got in trouble and that feud died. And, like, other than being like Ronda's,
buddy, yeah.
She didn't do much with her. And neither has AEW, obviously, but now she's at least, storyline adjacent.
Yeah. I mean, I made this comment. I made a video where I was talking about, I think we need to pay attention to AEW because I think this this John Moxley thing about him fixing AEW, I think it is a real effort from the company to change AEW. I don't think it's just I don't think it's just like behind the scenes shit. I think it's the product on screen. I think they're trying to make things matter more. And honestly, I don't think it's just them. And I think a lot of people are stepping up because holy hell, Tyler, Shelton Benjamin looks absolutely unreal right now.
He does.
Like,
happy for him.
Yes. Just, I mean, we're talking about like he looks like the Shelton that was in the match with Shawn Michaels. He looks like that, but he's added the scary like Minnesota wrestling vibe to him. Like the way he's tossing fuckers around. Like, dude, when he threw Sammy up for that, I was like, so like Leo it makes sense because Leo's like tiny, right?
Right.
But Sammy Guevara is not a really small dude. Like he's kind of like average, you know?
Right.
Like, he's like an average size, maybe like 200 pounds or whatever. But to see him just like chuck his ass up in the air like that, it was like, wow. And I mean, it sucks for Sammy because he kind of got tossed to the wolves there. Yeah, but I mean, when you look at it, when you see what's happening, it's definitely a scary situation, you know?
Right, and I think like Shelton, for whatever reason, I don't know why they had so many stop-start pushes. Because like, it surprises me that Triple H didn't see the value in him and that he wasn't one of the people that was sent to NXT, because like that's a perfect example of a guy that people could learn from.
Yeah.
And it surprises me that he didn't see the value, because obviously he's always thought he's talented. Like, he put him over when he first came to Raw.
Yeah.
And Triple H just didn't put guys over. Like, so obviously he must have felt like there was something there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know. Clearly there's an effort to push the Triple H guys. Like the guys that Vince didn't value, that Vince kind of like tortured. And we've heard recently, like we've heard rumors that Vince, I forgot who said it, but we've heard rumors that Vince that he didn't like that Triple H had his own thing. And that it wasn't Vince's idea. So he would take wrestlers from him, bring them to the main roster, and ruin them. Put them in an unwinnable situation.
That's so stupid.
I mean, it's a little conspiracy theorist, right? But
no, I totally believe it based on
the Bearcat,
stuff,
based on fucking Maximus Iridius Karrion Cross, based on Max Dupree. Like, we've seen guys that have been super over in NXT that they have put so much effort into, and they come to the main roster, and then like Karrion Cross is undefeated in NXT. His first match, he loses to Jeff Hardy. Like, and not like this Jeff Hardy, not like the Jeff Hardy that's like that we know and love and want to root for and wear arm sleeves for. Like, not that Jeff Hardy. Just like this, like pretty much a shell of himself, like at the end, of his WWE run. But I mean, he's been great. He looks smoother, clean. He looks clean. He looks sober. He looks fast. He looks great in TNA. But yeah, I mean, we watched that, and we watched Keith Lee, the Bearcat. That was awful.
Yeah, he got a push for a minute, awful. but then, yeah, I don't know why Vince was convinced that he needed to be that character, and like he even went to him during TV, and he was like, "Look, this is what I need from you." Like, and Vince, doesn't just. Like, he's usually at Gorilla during TV. He doesn't just go talk to people. And he was convinced that that's what like I don't understand why he wasn't just committed to having the best possible product. Why, like,
Yes.
I feel like there came a time where he felt like the name itself carried enough weight that it was just like a vehicle to amuse him.
Yeah. Breaking news out of NXT. Rhea Ripley was on hand today to celebrate Delta and Jordan Grace's arrival in NXT. And there was a backstage segment in which, very a la Shawn Michaels and Triple H, when Shawn Michaels was the commissioner and got left bloody on the hood of a car, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez have left Rhea Ripley bloody in the parking lot. The video, the picture looks brutal. We did not see the actual punishment that's doled out, but Rhea sold the shit out of this. It looks phenomenal. Liv and Raquel are seen walking off with big lead pipes, swinging them around like baseball bats. I mean, for the people that say that Liv Morgan has not been put in a position to be successful against Rhea, you guys don't know your ass from your elbow, because this is how you build a monster heel, and this is how you garner sympathy for a babyface.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's obviously gonna hopefully really ignite things.
Yes. I think it's a great thing. I mean, I think we're headed into the right spot. I don't think that this ends. I'm hoping. Just hoping. I don't think that this ends with Rhea Ripley winning the title back. I don't think that's what happens.
I don't know. They're almost booking themselves into a corner where they don't have a choice.
Okay, so elaborate on that. What do you mean by that?
Because at some point, she just can't just keep losing.
Okay.
The one thing I could see is that she's just so mad that she just gets DQ'd.
Jerry Lawler. Sharpshooter.
Similar.
Okay.
Yeah, similar to that, or just yeah, or like Ken Shamrock snapping, and
okay. I like both of those. We've never seen that from a woman's standpoint, so I think that would be a really great thing. I mean, Rhea's booked as a monster, like pretty much as like the top dog. Here's
the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too often in wrestling, I think we worry too much about like who won and lost a match versus what happened in the match. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Like MJF and Danielson, when they had the Iron Man match. Like everyone acted like Danielson was, a failure or whatever, and he was like boo-boo faced and whatnot because MJF won. But if you look for like weeks afterwards, dude's face was all messed up. And like, so what happened was you got to fight a guy that you hate for over an hour, and you beat the ever-loving shit out of him to the point that he's barely recognizable for weeks. So like, that's not, you can't come away from that and be like, oh man, I failed.
Yeah.
Like, especially if we're trying to push this as reality based.
Yes.
Like, because I often think like a fight that I wanted to be in that didn't end up happening. I was pretty sure I wasn't gonna win the fight, but he was gonna feel it too. And I was fine with that. Like, that was, it is what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
You got to take damage to do your thing.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it's definitely one of those strange things. I love what you're saying. I just kind of feel like I worry and I mean this because I genuinely do feel like this is the best like version of her that we've gotten on the main roster. I worry that where does Liv go from here? If she loses the championship to Rhea and then they have the rematch and Rhea beats her again, right? Like let's say that it plays out like this. Let's say Liv loses the championship to Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's champ. Next pay-per-view, they have their rematch. Raquel gets inserted. So now it's a triple threat. Right? So now it's a triple threat. And you have like Raquel and like Raquel takes the pin to save Liv, right? Or they want to save Raquel versus Rhea for the future. And Liv takes the pin, right? So now Liv has lost the championship, and then traditional sense, she loses the rematch. Where do you go from there? What are you doing? Because now we're in the midst of Tiffany's going to be on like in that spotlight because we're getting the whole Wednesday, like we're getting the whole like Wednesday Addams type of thing with like Tiffany and Rhea, and they're playing it up on the internet, and fans are eating that shit up. And then Becky's on her way back; she's teasing it. Charlotte is pretty close to being cleared, right? So this is what's happening. Asuka's going to be back. That's 4 women that are going to come back. And then there's the tease of Alexa Bliss. We might start seeing.
They got a feud with somebody, right?
Agreed. But are they going to come like, do you honestly think that Io's done? Like everybody's fantasy booked WrestleMania as Io versus Rhea. Like, I don't even know where they got that fucking match from, but I've seen it on literally everybody's fantasy booking. Is it just a match people want to see?
I guess. I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Rhea's not going to work somebody like Io. Like, don't get me wrong. Io's amazing. She's amazing. But, like, Rhea's past couple WrestleMania matches have been, like, they're Charlotte, Asuka, Charlotte, Becky. Like, she's not working Io. I'm sorry. Like, if anything, she's working Bianca. If Bianca doesn't work Jade. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know that we get there from here yet. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of how I feel about it. Like I just kind of feel like it's
yeah, I just there's a lot of talent, and then that's great. That's exciting. Like, but yeah, you're right. Like, where does she go? Like, I mean, obviously, like I said, they're gonna have to feud with somebody. So, like,
agreed.
Does Charlotte come back as a babyface? Because, like, she's been gone so long. Do we miss her to the point that she comes back as a babyface?
So the rumors currently are that Charlotte comes back and immediately jumps into a program with Nia and Tiffany. And I think if the objective is to get her to be the one to beat Nia because it's Charlotte Flair and it takes a queen to beat a queen. And then obviously Charlotte's the type of person that she can come in, she can lose, and it's not going to affect. She's at the John Cena level where losing doesn't matter. She's Charlotte Flair. Right. You know what I mean? She's at the level where it's her job to put people over right now.
Right. If she came in and beat Nia, don't you think people would? Yeah. I was just going to say, don't you think people would kind of shit on that?
No, because she beat Ronda.
Yeah,
and then she lost the championship to Nikki Cross. And I think everybody was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like Charlotte is the person to beat Ronda. Yeah, but it had to be Charlotte to beat Ronda because Charlotte has a better record against Ronda than anybody else. And then she's the person to drop the champion. I mean, think about it. Like, Charlotte's been cashed in on 3 times. Like, she's the person you cash in on. Nikki Cross, Bayley, and Carmella. They've all cashed in on Charlotte Flair.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right? So mean, Tiffany, it's kind of one of those things. I mean, obviously, we know Tiffany's wrestling Liv Morgan Friday night on SmackDown. So I'm pretty sure Liv Morgan's winning that match. I don't see Liv going into the pay-per-view with a loss.
I don't know. I guess we could look it up since it's already happened.
No, I'm not doing that. I got mad at somebody else because I thought they spoiled something. So when I told you that thing, I made a 15-second TikTok video and some asshole jumped into my comments. Like, I guess they're not an asshole because they were wrong. No, they were actually right. No, they were wrong. They thought it was Seth. I was like, oh, I had said the theory about like Finn Balor versus Dom, and they jumped into my comments and like it was pre-recorded. Like made me think Raw was pre-recorded, and I was like, what? I'm going to Raw. How's it pre-recorded? And they were like, it's a dark match and it was Seth Rollins. And I was like, boo, why would you do that? Like, that's what I said to them. And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, I'm going to the show. Like, this is weird. But yeah, I'll never go to another show before Saudi.
Yeah.
I really felt like the Saudi thing really messed things up.
Well, yeah, in general.
Yeah. I mean, agreed.
Glad to have wrestling to watch on a Saturday afternoon, but besides that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a strange thing, but yeah, Tyler, before we wrap up here, is there any other news in professional wrestling that you wanted to talk about? Anything else that you think we missed that maybe you might want to mention? Or is there anything that I said on a video that you had a bugaboo about?
No, yeah, I guess I want to kind of, you touched on, you know, heel work can go too far or whatever.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
It can.
Mm-hmm.
Did she say something about Rhea's like anxiety in that?
No, but
So she just called the fans losers and whatever.
and ugly and
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's like heels have done that since the beginning of time. Like Bobby Heenan, you know,
ravishing Rick Rude.
he stole, literally ripped it out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a thing, and it's a character. It's fine. Now, if you know, I don't like getting into real life personal shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess if it's cleared by the other person, it is what it is, and that's fine. It's not something I would be comfortable with for the most part. So as long as that line isn't crossed, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I agree. I guess I just kind of feel like I saw this great clip from Anthony Jeselnik where he talks about the guy from Madison Square Garden. And he made it clear. He said, when you know someone went too far is when a comedian makes a joke and they didn't get away with it. Like if you made a joke and people are more offended than they find humorous, like where nobody thought it was funny and everybody's offended, you didn't get away with it. And you doubling down on it only makes it worse. You know what I mean? And I kind of just felt like I feel like we're in this era where we don't need to fall back on that type of heel heat. You know what I mean? Like you can be edgy. You can be a mean heel. You can be a badass heel without going to that type of stuff. I mean, because that's the thing. There are people that view Rhea as a role model, you know, because of what she means, because of what she did. And it's definitely like nerve-wracking and it's sad to see like, you know, like that's where like Liv, like I feel like she's done so well with her character and I just kind of felt like that rubbed me the wrong way. Like it was just like, I didn't really like it. And it didn't, it wasn't like that was really good because you've heard, like I've praised a lot of her. Like when we talk, at least I don't do it on TikTok because it's not engaging. But when we talk, I say it all the time. This is the best version of Liv. Like, and I've said it here on the show. Like I don't want her to lose the championship because I'm afraid of what's going to happen to her when she loses it.
Right.
So I kind of feel like I don't think she needs that.
Yeah, I just think like maybe the question was asked and like I guess maybe she didn't know what to say.
I think it was also the question that was asked was kind of asked. The guy was kind of a dick about it. You know what I mean? Like when I think about the thing, he was like, "You're over," but then like Rhea's over, and it's like, well, you kind of set her up to be on her defensive. Like even if she didn't, you're essentially saying that she's not superstar over.
Right. And first of all, like I feel like wrestlers probably don't really like when those terms are used.
Yes.
I said it to one once. I used that term and he didn't say anything, but like I don't know if it was I think it was because he agreed with what I said.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if it had been something different, it may have rubbed him the wrong way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I for one thing I don't think, like I said, I don't think wrestlers particularly care for like in an interview, like who was the interview with?
Oh, it's just some Sirius XM guy. I've seen him
It
before.
wasn't like Busted Open. It wasn't like Bully Ray or
No.
any of those guys. So that would be different. But like just some rando. Like I feel like there's a couple of people that could get away with it, like a Chris Van Vliet, or
Yes.
but just some rando there, or like a Sam Roberts or a like that. But
Yeah, I mean
so
those guys definitely do it.
Put off by the question and just like didn't really know what to say.
She definitely came off like when you watch her demeanor. I don't think she liked the question. I will say that.
Right.
I think you're right. I think I don't think she appreciated the question. Like I think it was one of those things where it's like there's another way to phrase it. Like, oh, how do you feel that Rhea's done all of this stuff to you, and yet she still has support from a fan base? Like then,
Right.
That leads to a milder kind of like comment where she can trash the internet or she could trash like the fans. But for him to kind of say like you're over, but she's like over, almost like, and the way he said it too, like he lifted his hand almost like bro, she's up here and you're down here. You know,
it's
what I
like
mean?
you're a popular women's wrestler, but she's a popular wrestler.
Yes. That's the way it came off. Yeah, the interviewer definitely pushed her into
which is not wrong, but still.
Yes. But we'll see how popular we'll see because clearly this is going to take a couple weeks. Rhea's going to be
I just really think Rhea is on a whole other level from the entire rest of the women's division. I think she's like she's not a diva, she's a star.
No, she's a star. Yeah. Hey, you said it best earlier. You said it best a couple minutes ago. You said Liv's a really popular women's wrestler. Rhea's a very popular wrestler.
Right.
That's the best way to put it. I mean, it's kind of like she's reached the Becky and Charlotte level. She's at that point.
Right. Now. She's crossed over. It's like Taylor Swift was she was a super popular country artist, and then she just became one of the most popular artists in music.
Agreed.
Rhea is the Taylor Swift of wrestling.
Agreed. Yeah. Definitely that. But yeah, man, I mean, thank you so much, guys, for tuning into our show. We definitely wanted to have that for you. We're hoping to have more open dialogue and discussion like this. We don't want to, as we stated on the last show we did together, we don't really want to be a review show. There's so many of those out there, and they're so great at it. This is what we want to do. We want to have a conversation about wrestling. So join us in the chat. Send us questions and comments, whatever you want to do. Like, subscribe, share our podcast, because the best way to get us out there is to share us with all your friends. We are immediately put on Spotify by our producer. This show that we just did right now will be on Spotify tomorrow morning. And we are able to cross over to the audio area. So if you don't want to sit here and look at our beautiful mugs and you just want to listen to our sensual voices, that's right, I said sensual. If you want to listen to our voices and you want to do that while you're working out, while you're pooping, while you're cooking, while, anything you're doing while you're walking your dog, it's a great listen. Give us a chance. We definitely think that you'll appreciate. There's something for everybody here. And we're always open. You send us questions and comments, and we love interacting with you. Last night, I interacted with one random person who told me that he thinks that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to beat Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at Backlash 2025.
I'm sorry, is that a person that's employed by WWE?
I have no idea, but Shinsuke Nakamura. So happy. Yeah,
I mean Shinsuke Nakamura, not the guy that you were talking to.
Yeah. It's crazy. Definitely.
I haven't seen that guy on TV.
That would be so exciting.
I feel like I've been on TV as much as that guy has this year.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. But yeah,
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be so dope. The supervillain, American Nightmare versus like Shinsuke Nakamura. That'd be fucking great.
The fucking Shinsuke Nakamura that was feuding with Seth. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Agreed.
Speaking Japanese.
Yep. It would be fucking brilliant. Just brilliant.
It would be really good. So I don't know who you are, but I hope you work for WWE, sir. And let's book that shit.
Yeah, agreed. Let's get into it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of you. Once again, please like, subscribe, share our podcasts, and let us know what you think. Send us comments. Please leave 5-star ratings. We love those ratings. They help garner more audience. We will reach more people if you give us a 5-star rating. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And until next time, we are out.